All right, everybody, it is Paul from Value Flips here. Got another video, a thrifting video for you guys. I want to start off by sharing a few sales before we head out hunting, looking for things to sell online on eBay, Poshmark mostly. So up first is some kids made in Germany suspenders. I picked these up for $1 a few months ago, and probably not the best buy, but they ended up selling for $12 with free shipping. So I rarely do free shipping, but this is such a light item, so made a few dollars on it. I got this Waltham mantle clock made in Switzerland at a Salvation Army about 2 months ago. It had some condition issues. It wasn't working, but I thought for $10, these clocks normally go for, $50 and up. So I figured I could get some money out of it. It took a while. I had to lower my price. I ended up selling it for $22 plus shipping. So not too bad. Sold this 1991 TI-85 calculator. I got this at a thrift store 2 months ago. I paid $4 for it. Ended up selling it for $19. This is a little bit different type of calculator than the TI-83s and 84s, but still worth some money. And if you can get them cheap enough, they still do sell. So nice flip here. I sold this Cinch shirt. Cinch is a good brand to be on the lookout for. I have sold their shirts before and their vests too. I sold this shirt for $19. I picked it up at a church thrift store 2 months ago for $3.50. So when you're getting clothing for that cheap, you know, which is rare, where most of the clothing in my area is, $5 and up. So getting something for $3.50 or $2, there's some money to be made there. So nice flip. I sold a lot of two Boppets, the Boppet XT and the regular Boppet. I picked these up at garage sales. This one was from last year, so I've had it for a while. I paid $6 for both of them, ended up selling them for $27. So not a bad flip. They're starting to slow down. These were selling like hotcakes a couple years ago, but I think the market's really slowed down on them. All right, everybody, it is Paul here, and we are out picking. We're hunting at thrift stores looking for things to flip online for a profit. That's what I do. Looking for stuff to sell on eBay and mostly Poshmark, sometimes Facebook Marketplace. And I'm starting out at a Salvation Army here, looking at pottery, ceramics, and I see this cool kind of out of place foam rubber skeleton head. With Halloween coming up, I thought this might be a good pickup. I hesitated on it. It was in okay condition. I think they wanted $4 or $5 for it. I decided to pass on it. Somebody else actually ended up picking it up. And then came out on a cart. I couldn't show you in the store because there was just people around, but these came out on a cart, all these Starbucks mugs, and they wanted $5 a piece for them. I threw them all in my cart right away. I knew there was definitely some money to be made there. They're in great condition too. So after that mug haul, I head over to another Salvation Army here and looking at the dishes and plates. That's new, made in China, not worth anything. Checking out the dishes, learning more and more about dishes. That piece, I believe, was from the early 90s. It was homemade, though. It had somebody's signature on it. So just pretty cool, though, if you're into that type of art. Not for me, so I passed on it. And this is an interesting cup. That's from the early 2000s, late 90s. It's a Bailey's promotional cup. There's lots of them listed, and there's really not too many are selling. So kind of neat little cup, but passed on that. Now I head over to another aisle and I actually find another Starbucks cup, and they wanted $3 for this one. It was just a Starbucks mug kind of day for me. Like, I don't think I've ever found this many Starbucks mugs in one day. And here I am in the electronics section at the same Salvation Army, and they have this Panasonic. They wanted $20 for it. It's a decent brand, the Blue Line, but with no remote. I decided to pass on it. $20 is a little too high. For $10, I would have taken it, but with no remote. And I don't believe I have any extra remotes for that VCR right now. So I've got probably a dozen VCRs in my inventory right now. So I don't pick them up unless they're a really good brand and really cheap. I'm looking at this end cap of board games. Not really finding much. This is a smaller Salvation Army, but they do have sometimes some gems in here. And I look at this sewing machine. So this is a brand you want to look out for. It's Janome, Janome, made in Japan. It's a Japanese company. They make pretty good sewing equipment. They wanted $50 Salvation Army for this sewing machine, which is way too much. If it was $10 or $20, I might have considered it. But Janome is a good brand to look out for if you want to get into selling sewing stuff. Janome, Bernina, Pfaff, good brands to be on the lookout for. And I'm still looking in junk aisles here, digging and digging. That's kind of the name of the game. And some old scales. Never sold an old, scale like a human scale before. I see this bean slicer made by Sponge & Co. Obviously very old. They wanted, I believe, $6 for it. It just didn't look complete. I looked pictures. It does sell online for like $20, but I couldn't find really. I didn't think it was complete, so I ended up leaving it behind. I thought it was missing some pieces. Same with this baseball glove. It's a catcher's glove. It just had too much damage on it. You really have to look at that area where you put your hand in. It tends to crumble. If you're buying baseball gloves, make sure you check that. And they wanted a lot for a broken baseball glove. $13, I think, is too much. But normally this is like a $20 to $30 glove. So, if it was $5 and in good shape, I probably would have picked it up. But just be careful with baseball gloves, because I have bought them, taken them home, and then, oh no, the coating on them is flaking off. So be very careful when you look in here. There's a Baby Breeza. I never sold a Baby Breeza before. Checking out the coffee makers. I'm at a Goodwill now. This is a small Goodwill, but sometimes they do have some good items. You get the toasters, some type of Charles Craft juicer or something never seen before. And now I'm at a Value Village Savers in the electronics section. They actually had no VCRs. Usually this location has a VCR or two, and they had nothing. Checking out the sewing machines again. And those humidifiers sell well, but that one was missing parts. So I leave it behind if it's missing parts like that. And I do end up finding something here on the bottom shelf. You'll see me pull it out here, which is pretty rare. It's like a Finding Nemo wall light, and I think there's money to be made here. It's one of those wall lights that like moves. It has a kind of film in it and it moves. So I ended up putting that in my cart. Taking a look at some dishes now, Pyrex. Trying to learn more and more about the patterns. Blue cornflower, that's a very typical pattern. Can be valuable. I found the pricing here wasn't too bad. Like, I think they wanted $6 for that, for blue cornflower with the lid. That's reasonable, right? I think that was a pretty decent deal, but no, I didn't end up taking it. There's not enough money to be made there. So that behind. And I see this moose ornament. I have, that's Big Sky Carver's moose ornaments. I've bought and sold those before. They wanted too much for that one. I believe they wanted like $20 for it. So, and down here, I really like this kind of funky pattern on those dishes, and that's Studio Nova, I believe from the late 80s, early 90s, but there was no money to be made there. There was no sold, so I left it behind. Very cool to see though. And I picked this up. This was just sitting here. This is a Coleco Mr. Turtle. I used this as a kid in a pool. I don't know if you guys ever did. It floats and it's called like a kickboard. It helps. It's a flotation device. And I saw it sitting there. They wanted $5 for it, Value Village. So yeah, I'll take that for sure. Just a great, great little item. And now I'm at a Goodwill in the sports section. And this skateboard I looked at, I knew right away they wanted $6 for it. It is a cheap skateboard based on how thick it is and how it's flaking off. It's got like a transfer paper on it. So when you see something thick like that, it's almost always a worthless skateboard. So just kind of so you know what to be careful for. I saw these IKEA plates. Aren't they beautiful pattern? They were not really selling, so I did not pick them up, but they wanted 75 cents at Goodwill for these things. Like, what a great price for just beautiful pattern. I just love the pattern of these. But I'll leave them all behind. So, very cool to see, though, stuff like that. So, we'll head to the hall now, and I'll show you guys all that I found over the last couple of days. All right, everybody, it's Paul, and I'm back from thrifting, from hunting the last few days. I went to about 6 thrift stores, and I found some really cool items. Not crazy valuable, but just the coolness factor was just unbelievable. So I'm going to share you some of them. This time, actually, I have some auction wins, too, that I'll share with you. First, let's start up here. I paid $8 for this at Salvation Army. This is a bolo. I've been selling these for the last, 5 years. They sell really well. They're Sunbeam hot shots. They're hot water dispenser. You put your cup here, water in there. It boils water right away and makes you a cup of tea in, seconds. It's just wonderful. I actually have 2 of these. I use them all the time. So it's a warranted bolo in my opinion. This is the first for me down here for $8 at Goodwill. I got a Black & Decker Space Saver coffee maker. I tested it in the store, made sure it worked. It looks to be in really good condition. It just needs to be wiped down. These are selling anywhere from $50 to $100 on eBay, so not sure where I'm going to go, but it's actually not too heavy either, so it should be pretty easy to ship. So for $8, I figured for sure I'd take that. Something out of my wheelhouse. I'm trying to get into more. For $4.50 at Goodwill, I got this vintage Fire King, and this is called this pattern. See, I'm starting to know the patterns. I believe it's called the candle pattern, and I picked this one up. Like I said, it was $4.50. The big reason why I picked it up was because it was in such great condition, and I see there's soles between $20 and $30. So I figured easy to ship, easy to pack for me anyway. I'll probably put it on Poshmark because it's a bit heavier. Then at a Salvation Army, I found on a cart all these Starbucks Bin There series cups, and they were $5 a piece. The little one was $3. I just got lucky, was in the right place at the right time. I picked them all up. I've already sold one of them. I had a Florida one, and it sold like within hours of me putting, and I think I got 20 something dollars for it. So yeah, that's a no-brainer. Starbucks mugs, if you can get them cheap enough, and these are in great condition. They were probably just displayed. Then here for 50 cents a piece, I got these IKEA glasses. I've sold these before. It's not big money, maybe, $8 a glass, but I figured for 50 cents, something I enjoy selling. And then I did an auction. There's a charity in my area that does auctions. So they're kind of like Goodwill, but they're not Goodwill. And they do all these, auctions from donations. And I've bought from them before, and I did really well at this auction. I got all these G.I. Joes. They're from the 80s. I paid $3.50 per G.I. Joe. And that's not a crazy good deal, but it's also a very good deal in my opinion. Some of these GI Joes range anywhere from like $5 each to the highest one I've sold, I think, was $40 for just one soldier. So I would have to go through them and scan them. I did do a quick Google search lens. So Google Lens is really good in this because I'm not an expert on GI Joe. I'm trying to learn more and more about it because I'm interested in it. But like this guy goes for like $15 without his accessories. So I should be able to easily recoup my money on this. But yeah, just cool. I actually left some behind. There were more GI Joe lots and I didn't bid on them. I just decided to go with these. And when I was looking at the pictures, look at the condition if you can. Like, I can tell just looking at this, the child who owned these, they're in pretty good condition. Like they're not beat up, they're not missing thumbs or limbs and whatnot. So that's a good sign. Another thing I got for $11, these two books from the auction, and they're Tad Williams, Dragon Bone. I thought maybe they'd be first editions from the late 80s. Unfortunately, they're not. I took a chance on them. It doesn't matter. I should be able to easily get, I'll probably lot them together and ask 25, $30 for combined. I'll get my money back. And this is a cool item. I got this from Value Village. It was $10 and I wasn't sure if it worked. I took it over to the electronic testing station, and sure enough, it works. It just needs a cleaning. It does have a couple condition issues. I looked and saw this on the corner here. I'll just touch that up with a little blue paint to kind of hide that, and then sand this so that nobody hurts themselves. It's also missing the screw covers on it, but I don't think that's a deal breaker. For $10, I do see on Terapeak or Product Research, eBay has a sold of $130 for one of these a couple years ago with free shipping. So apparently it's pretty rare item and it does work well, as you can see. It just needs a cleaning. So that was a great pickup and hopefully you should be a good score. Now I'll go to the second part of my haul. All right, guys, it's Paul here again. So I'm going to finish off the haul. Found some cool items here. At Goodwill, I picked up this book. My Goodwill only charges, I believe, $1.50 for hardcovers. This book, probably I'll shoot for like $10 for. I'm trying to get more into books and learn about that and get knowledgeable. And so I'm trying to get my feet wet. Next to it is a remote that I've sold before for 50 cents. It was actually less than 50 cents. I think it was like 35. There was a discount of some sort for this color at Goodwill. I got this Ninja Turtles remote and I've sold it before. I get about $15 for it. So not bad. And then here I found, this is Woody's horse from the movie Toy Story. And this is actually the talking bullseye. So it's got a battery pack in there. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it or resell it. I paid $5 for it. And I have Woody, so I might put them together and just display it. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. This guy's a little rare because there's different versions of this guy, and this has got the hard feet. I find with Toy Story toys, by the way, just a side note, so they're made by Thinkway Toys, and then there's actually other companies that make Toy Story toys, so it's very hard to identify them sometimes, like the big Buzz Lightyears and whatnot, because it just says on there Thinkway Toys. It does not give you any more information, so you really need to utilize Google Lens and eBay searches to find research, because some of them can be really valuable. And lastly is probably my favorite find of the last few days. Not the most valuable, but very cool. It's a Coleco Mr. Turtle from the early 90s or 80s. I remember using these in the early 90s when I went swimming. Just an amazing, cool find. This was found at Value Village. I paid $5 for it. They're selling anywhere from $30 up to $70. I don't expect to get as high as 70. This one, the labels for the eyes are in good condition. I looked over, but it does have a bit of fading on it and discoloration and some scratches on the back. I don't know if that's showing up, but I'll probably maybe start at $50 and then slowly lower it. That's what I tend to do, kind of my strategy. I will test it. I'll put it in the bathtub and make sure that it has no holes in it before I list it. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching. This is Paul from my channel Value Flips. Thanks for the support. If you guys could like and subscribe, that'd be great. Good luck out there, and we'll see you at the next one.